Because we'll watch this and say, like, dance anime.
Anyways, we got any more movies you want to talk about?
No, but this would be a good segue into your topic, though.
Yes, I gave you guys some homework. My topic. I gave you guys some homework to watch a little thing so pretty much it's 2 a.m. I believe.
Right.
You know, I'm all alone. Very on theme with this. Made some like Alfredo. You know what I mean?
What was I doing?
You were just sleeping.
Right.
I remember because you woke up and I was trying so hard not to like splurge on you to be like,
excuse me.
You know, trying so hard not to splurge all over you.
Yeah, right.
And just be like I was like, yo, you gotta watch this. I was like, and like I had to hold it in. But so pretty much, turn it on, beginning to end. Watch Bo Burnham.
Whoa! You know what's funny? We just kind of hinted at it. It's kind of like a musical and a comedy, like a stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch Bo Burnham's Netflix special Inside. And when I watched that shit alone from 2 a.m. to around 3:30, I didn't even finish my food. That's how in it I was. And I remember I was like blasting it. And I was just alone with my thoughts. And I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe what I watched. So pretty much naturally, I was like, I kind of want to talk about this Bo Burnham Inside. And I gave you guys homework to
watch it. And now you know me. I was like, once again, I didn't write anything down. Like usually when we talk about something and we like to do like reviews, I guess I go super hard in the paint and I write everything down and shit. And this time we're just gonna freeball it. And I'm scared we're gonna miss something, but it's okay. So this is not.
Always take it from the beginning and.
Yeah, you guys have to lead me through it because Let me just say this before we get deep into it. There is just so much attention to detail and like subliminal symbolism and themes and shit in it that a lot of people would miss. And I feel like I might be wrong in this, but I feel like it's super like it's relatable to everyone. Yes, definitely. But I feel like it's super like relatable and resonates with content creators.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Kev, lead it.
I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, where do we start? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like first of all, I guess like obviously I enjoyed it like a lot. I enjoyed it a lot to the point where like I already told you last episode. It takes me, or I barely recommend shit, and I was like saying to like Steven like you gotta watch this kind of thing.
Right.
And I kind of tried not to go too strong into it because he's just like, oh yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, I'm super like what. Like off-standish, is that the word? I don't know.
Kind of like, but like
cold shoulder.
Yeah, a little bit, because I'll just be like, "Yo, dude, you have to watch it." You'd be like, hey,
once again, it takes a lot of effort for me to watch things,
mm-hmm.
and for this, I watched it 4 times. So
yeah. So luckily, I was watching Make Happy with that, which was Bo Burnham's last special.
Right.
I hadn't watched it before.
Okay. I think no, because if I were to take all 3 of them, I would say Inside's my favorite, then the very first one, and then Make Happy.
Really?
Oh yeah, I like Make Happy so much because like the thing is, I enjoy this like commentary on life, Bo Burnham, instead of
to rewatch Make Happy again though.
Instead of like the just I'm gonna say a pun here and then I'm gonna be like stupid right here.
I
like
really liked the first one though.
Because like the comedy that I like usually has a commentary on like the world usually because I think that's like that's my favorite comedy like and that's where a lot of comedy comes from. It's like a lot of truth in the world and how ridiculous it is,
right?
Which is kind of why I like growing up. Like a lot of people give like South Park flack for like it being just raunchy, but like a lot of the episodes are like literal commentaries on what the hell is going on right now.
Yep.
If you really deep down, but they just do it in like a really really bad way. But it's like super smart if you like really look at it.
I feel like my thing with like comparing Bo Burnham's like what to Make Happy is, when I watched Make Happy, I feel like I was in a different place. So comparing the first one to the second one, I was almost like caught off guard by how like you can tell like genuinely depressed he was in the second one, that I was like, I don't like this. And I feel like now, because obviously like Inside's just I feel like I'm in more of a place now to be able to relate to it and his feelings and how he is. And I feel like if I were to rewatch Make Happy, I'd probably be like, same. But watching it at the time that I had, I don't think I was like mentally in a place to be able to relate to it, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like It was watching Inside was so weird because like I feel like I relate. Like I don't really like I was there. You know what I mean? That's like when I watched it, I was like, oh, I remember being in this place that he was at.
Yeah.
And the way he went and processed it was very similar to the way I went and processed it when I made. I feel like I bring this up every freaking episode. I swear I'm not obsessed. When I made the I Am 2020 dance story.
Yeah.
I feel like that was very much like my route.
That was your inside kind of.
That was my inside pretty much.
Yeah.
And watching him go through it, I was like, I went through all these feelings. Like I went through this, and that, and that's why it resonated with me so much, and why I really liked it. And that's why I'm like, if someone didn't like, that's why I'm thinking like if you're like a non-content creator, or like you didn't really make something like that,
yeah,
it would be less
impactful.
Yeah, less relatable. But
because the thing is, you're watching him and you're seeing him deal with the duality of this thing is driving him insane, and also at the same time it's like his purpose as of right now. And I've been there like making a lot of stuff, and like I've been you see him like at the beginning, you see him just slowly just lose it, and you start to like to see he's having kind of like, you know, he even mentions like derealization. He just is like having this out of body, like I don't even know like what the purpose of this is anymore. And he's like, do I finish this? And he's like, I don't know.
I was the same way.
And he was just like, you know what, I'm not finishing it. He's just like, this, after I finish this, like I have nothing to do, and I'm just gonna go back to where I was. And it's like it's him struggling with that.
That's exactly how I felt choreographing the piece. I remember, and I was like, I didn't really process it until, first of all, put a pin in it. I feel like we didn't even explain what Inside really is.
Yeah, I was gonna explain after you're done. Pretty much,
it's not even like a comedy. I remember watching it halfway through, and I was like, "This shit." I was laughing really in the first half, and you remember me watching it like toward the middle. I was like, "This is not a comedy." So don't go in thinking you're gonna laugh your ass off, because you're probably not.
Yeah,
if you like uncomfortable laughter, it's kind of just like that. Oh,
like that's funny, relatable type thing. Go ahead, explain.
So if you haven't watched Inside, Bo Burnham's Inside, which I highly recommend you do. Whether
Can you even spoil Inside?
Whether you come out liking it or not.
Not really.
But the general
singing all the music.
Yeah.
The general idea is that Bo Burnham, because you know obviously there's the pandemic going around and everyone has to stay inside, stay safe, wear your mask, all that stuff, get vaccinated. The general idea is that he stayed inside of his I think it's his guest house, right?
It's like a shed.
Yeah,
creative shed.
It's like a little.
I was like, this is the house he lives in.
Yeah, I think it's actually like a smaller part of his actual bigger house.
Yeah. It's literally like a creative shed.
Yeah.
So the idea is that it was just him and a camera, and usually his specials are, you know, he has a crowd, it's live, he has camera people, he has obviously people backstage working lights, and
he's a stand-up comedian. That does like translates his comedy through music.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a musical, pretty much.
Yeah, he's like a comedic musician kind of type thing, and pretty much the idea is that it was only him and a camera, and he fully lit. He had a little bit of help like coloring it, but he pretty much for the full thing he filmed it by himself in this house, and made the music and did everything by himself, shot, edited it, and all that stuff.
Respect.
And it's so well put together, and in the sense that you're watching it and you kind of almost forget like, oh, he did all this like on a fucking laptop.
Yeah. And I know, like, that's what I'm saying, content creators could relate to that, because you watch this and I know it inspired me to be like, damn, everything I made up to this point is shit. Like, I need to step my shit up. Like, it was inspiring in the way that like I need to do better type of thing. You know what I mean? So after I watched that, I was just like super inspired. Like, I want to create something.
Yeah. I just want to go back to like him just going insane with this, and pretty much the idea is that it takes place for about the past year or so for him to create this. Yeah. And again, this is gonna be like kind of spoilery if you just want to go in blind. Again, I suggest watching it if you can.
Maybe you should have put a warning up at the beginning.
Whatevs. If you want to go in blind, watch it, and then come back here, watch this, or leave this on in the background, mute it, watch Inside, go back, give us the watch time, because that will help out. Like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, him going insane, like, it's like I've been in that mental space too, where like I'm gonna bring it back up, like the Resident Evil 8. I'm telling you, I don't think you guys realize how insane I was going with the Resident Evil 8 thing just not working and stuff. And it's not like he never put anything where he was like, oh, this shit wasn't working. Sure, I think there was the one shot where he like pulled the little video monitor and like the camera was like about to fall, and like that was like the only thing he put in there that like was like oh come on, like just the stresses of like setting up a shot. And like the fact that like it took like a solid like 30 minutes just to set the shot up like every time and get my laptop and all that. But yeah, anything you want to talk about specifically, like so we go song by song, or like,
I mean, we could. See, this is what's hard about not making like a quote unquote review. It's honestly, for me, I'm very thought out type of person. I like to go step by step instead of openly talk about it. But what do you want to do?
No, I was just gonna say like honestly, like the this was literally the point of this topic was just to be a beacon for however many people watched it, like that aren't planning on watching this, or something that this wouldn't be their avenue, like to go watch it, because
got it.
One pretty much like this whole thing that Bo Burnham has made, it was like this perfect almost end cap to like this light at the end of the tunnel of this whole situation, and it's like the most like cathartic thing. I think by the time I finished it, I was just like, like we're kind of there, and but it also tackles like issues of mental health and the way that it parallels the pandemic and staying inside, and even like the idea of staying inside, like literally for the safety of others and yourself, but also like being inside your own head and being feeling the feelings of depression and anxiety and all that, like literally just being inside your own head, and trying to go out, kind of thing. And there's the whole parallel between it and the way he uses that with the lyrics of like the songs that he uses. Anything you want to say?
No, I was about to say like I said, I remember after watching it, I texted our friends, I was like, this is a masterpiece. And I don't really throw around that word. And when I do, I don't mean like 10 out of 10 perfect. When I say masterpiece, I'm more or less saying like this is like one of a kind.
Yeah, the way I always see masterpiece, I'm like, is it like a kind of one of a kind thing where I'm like, oh my god.
You will not, I was saying like, you will not get this anywhere from anyone else. This is like, I feel like this is a thing that only he can do. And 2, this is only a thing that he could have made during this. And you can't make another one unless another pandemic or something. And that's what I meant when it was like a masterpiece. Was like, it was one of a kind, and it was just well thought out from beginning to end. He tackled almost every issue that happened during the pandemic, and it's kind of political too. And the way he goes about it is so smart with all the attention to detail. I feel like to talk about that, we need to like go like song by song, or bring up songs at least.
Yeah.
Got anything?
Well, one, I wanted to specifically like give a shout out to like, just again, I want to go back to like the lyrics and certain bits that he does, and like the way he kind of handles the way like being inside, right?
Yep.
And like that whole theme. Because I remember there's the funny part where he's like, what's going on, bro? Is like, welcome to the stream. He's doing like a whole stream bit.
Yeah. Let's talk about that actually.
And like so the idea behind this bit, if you don't want to watch it for some reason, you're an idiot, but don't worry, I am too. But the idea where he's like kind of filming himself as like a quote unquote game.
Yep.
And he's kind of like showing his creative process through this quote unquote game called Inside.
Yeah.
And like it shows him waking up like a video game, and the way his movements are, like he's very like he's trying to be like a video game.
Yes.
And he's adding sound effects.
I do that all the time too. So when we saw that scene, I was cracking up because like
I want to believe any gamer just acts like a video game. Like they like,
yeah, we do that all the time. Like walking down the hallway, just like, really like Resident Evil, like blocking,
tank controls,
and just like, yeah. Anyways,
and like I want to bring up like I think the one thing that stands out to me is that like one, he's quote unquote playing the game, but he's showing his day-to-day life in a very like dry and comedic way. So he's just like his first option was that like when he woke up and he was like press X to wake up, and it was just like the first option he has is like, okay, well he's like, I don't know what to do here. It says press A to cry, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll just cry, and like it's like it's really comedic, and you can tell like, oh no, he's probably just doing that every day. Yeah. And it says day 253 too, which is like the time that he probably was spending on this. And he's just like, okay, well I can't really do anything. He's like, I'm going around.
Yeah.
He's like, I guess I'll just cry again. And he's like doing that. He's like, all right, well it looks like we play the piano. He seems happy. But the one line that stuck out to me specifically in that is I love because again, I'm such an advocate for like mental health, getting help and all that. I love the line where like it's him talking to the chat and then it's just like, I don't know what to do, and he's just like, people are just like, why don't you just go outside? And he's just like, okay, well, I don't think it's gonna be that easy, but oh sure. And he tries it, and it just reminds me of like people that kind of like people that haven't been affected by mental health personally, they don't really understand like, and that is totally fine because it's so hard to even grasp the idea unless you've dealt with it.
They don't understand the mental energy it takes to overcome things. Yeah.
And I've heard so many times, I've been like an outside viewer of just like people that are super depressed, and you even hear stories. I remember in like one of my speech classes, one girl like revealed she was like, oh yeah, no, I wanted to like kill myself and all that. Yeah. And then like I think literally someone was like, oh, you wanted to kill yourself, but you seem so happy. And it's just like, that's kind of like the energy.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's so much more than just, oh, you seem so happy, why would you kill yourself?
Yeah, and I don't know if he thought this meta, but he is kind of meta. Yeah. But during the pandemic, Twitch blew up. So he's pretending to be a Twitch streamer, right? And Twitch absolutely blew up. So the fact that he like put that in the special, I was like, this is definitely like something he did day to day, like I was doing. And then it was a good like tell of like people watching more streams during the pandemic. And then yes, the door thing happens where he's like, chat sent me to open the door, let me try to do it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that happened, and then I want to touch on the piano thing too. It was like right before he does it, I believe he cries, and then he does the piano and he's all happy, and like, yeah, sure, the way I took it was like, yeah, you're happy while you're doing your passions or whatever, like for me, dancing, streaming, whatever it may be. You're happy during the moment, and then like after you're done and you come back to reality, he like cries again. Like it was only like a quick burst of like happiness and whatever. So that was cool. What do you think about the when he's like, oh, I hate when games give us the hint that quick, and it's like, and he picked up the flashlight or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm walking around like a cop or whatever.
I didn't pick up anything on that. Did you have any like interpretations of that?
How about you? I don't know. He's like, I hate when games tell you to get the hint.
Yeah.
Or give you the hint like too early before even giving you a chance.
Yeah.
To let you figure it out by yourself, maybe. And obviously, before he even goes up and like touches the door or the piano or whatever, it shows him walking around the room, and kind of I took it as like, oh, he's kind of just like lost, lost in life, lost in his room, just staying here all day.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's the way I took it.
Yeah, like that, and like honestly, like I guess, what was like one of your favorite like songs in it?
I like them all, man.
It's so hard, but like, what are the ones that because like to me, there's like this campfire song that he does, and like I think that's like the song of the show, quote unquote. Like I think
it's hard to say. There's so many good songs.
It just feels like the most powerful one, the one that is just like the song for change. Like if I were to give it like one, I think this deserves like fucking Oscars. Make it fucking happen some way somehow. But like if this movie film special gets nominated or even wins a like best original song, I think that's like the song to win it, pound for pound, like easily.
It's a good song.
And like
he tackled like
everything.
He pretty much like took bits of every song and put it in there. He mentioned it in some way or another, and he always says the line, "that funny feeling," which is perfect of just explaining like during the pandemic, going on Twitter and saying, of course, like, oh, this happened.
Yeah,
like,
it's literally
go ahead.
Yeah, the way he says like like there it is again, that funny feeling. Like it's funny because it's almost like a lot of these songs are almost put as like love songs almost. I don't know why I get that idea. It's kind of like that funny feeling. I always think of like love.
I feel like most of the time his music, like when he makes songs, it always does feel like a love song, and it almost like he's pushing towards it supposedly being a love song without actually being a love song, because it has that sound of a love song, but then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, that's not about love.
Yeah, and it even remind me like in like the sexting song where it's just like, it reminds me of like
he parodies so many
it's like
types of people.
It's like it reminds me of songs where it's like, oh, like sorry guys, I need to go like I'm spending time with my girl tonight, kind of thing, like one of those. And like the lyric of just like, I tell my boys I need some space, like I'm a FaceTime, but it's with his mom instead, which is like really funny. But going back to like that funny feeling, he just perfectly encapsulates like when you hear that, right, it's like you think of like love, but when you listen to the lyrics, you're like, no, he's totally describing the feeling I think that almost everyone experienced during the pandemic.
It's kind of unsaid. You don't really know what it is.
But
it's
like, that funny feeling in your stomach, that out of body experience of like, I can't believe this is actually happening. This is so real, kind of thing. And just like the state of like the nation, honestly, in the past year, and the way like it made you feel, kind of just like that weird feeling in your stomach and how sick it kind of made you feel.
Yep.
I think he perfectly encapsulated like that funny feeling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then just using like the different like meanings, like because I always commended it for having like kind of 3, like almost like a triple meaning.
There's way too many. I could sit here all day and break it down. There's so many different meanings.
Because like there was like lyrics like I love, he says like, you have the whole world at your fingertips, the ocean at your door, kind of thing. And the way he's singing about global warming, and like you would attest that to like and obviously everything that I'm saying here is definitely just up for interpretation.
Yep.
Nothing's set in stone.
Nothing's concrete.
But the way I interpreted it was like, well, the ocean at your door, okay, he's singing about global warming and like the ice caps melting, and eventually we're gonna be like flooded, kind of thing. But at the same time, the whole film talks about depression and stuff like that, and the ocean is very commonly used as a symbol for depression and being drowned in it and all that. Yeah,
and then I guess also you could say like the thing is called, the special is called Inside, and the whole special, it's always hinting about outside. There's so much nature being shown, always the window pan, the airplane flying, always the door cracking, like with the light at the beginning and end. Spoilers. But
we already gave you the chance.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But like not being able to go outside because it's blocked by the water of the ocean. Like you can't go outside. That's like another thing.
Mm-hmm. But I was gonna talk about like also like towards the end, like there's the classic, and I think it's such a genius like composition of the music where like where he just lets it ride out, where he just keeps saying, "Hey, what can you say? We were overdue."
Yeah.
But it'll be over soon. You wait. And I love he just lets you ride out on that, and it makes you really think on that lyric, and he really just keeps saying it until it fades away. And I love I interpret it as like this almost triple meaning where it's like, well, what's going to be over soon kind of thing. And I'm like, is he talking about, like, I think he's like literally talking about the world. He's talking about his depression.
Yeah.
But he's also talking about the pandemic as well. And it's like, which one, like
suicide or even the special itself.
Yeah. Exactly. It's crazy.
That was a big thing in the special of him saying like, yes, he needs to finish it. At the same time, he doesn't want it to end. When is it going to end? Is it going to end? I'm going to work on this forever. Yeah. That was a big thing. Can I jump to another song?
Yep.
I guess I'll pair them together. You mentioned it earlier, the FaceTime with the mom.
Yeah.
And white women Instagram. Really cool attention to detail. I'll get into it. I guess we start with the FaceTime with the mom. But first of all, it's about a song where he FaceTimes his mom during the pandemic. This is what he does at night. He has to do it. It's a cool tell of like slice of life, day in the life of the pandemic. You gotta talk to your parents or whatever.
Yeah, the way like a lot of people couldn't go out of state, and the way that we communicated was through Zoom or through FaceTime or video calling.
It might be obvious, but I thought I'd mention it anyways. But he doesn't, at the beginning he's not on the phone with his mom. He's singing about going to do that, and it's a wide shot.
Yeah.
And then the moment he calls, it starts going into that portrait mode of the FaceTime.
Yeah.
And it shows him singing the song and talking to his mom on the phone or whatever. Obviously, it's very obvious when he talks about the mom covering the thumb. The screen goes black, and then when she takes it off, it comes back, and then when he hangs up, it goes back to widescreen. And very much in the same way, for white women in Instagram, he does he goes through all the superficial I don't know, I guess like the templates that girls and guys use.
He goes through pretty much the way social media only shows highlights.
Yeah.
He goes through that, and I like the fact that it's just look at my nice phone. Because look at this thing, look at that thing. It's aha, I'm so happy. I'm happy.
He's showing everyone on the internet is always showing the best parts of their life and how they're always so happy they got it so good. And during all the moments where he's cutting through all of those I guess superficial instances that everyone's posting online. People post on Instagram. It's a classic.
Yeah.
It's in that it's not portrait. It's that 4x4 Instagram.
Square. It's just a little
ratio,
square.
Resolution ratio or whatever. Aspect ratio. And then during that one part in the song where
it breaks down and it gets super real, and it's just a photo of her mom, and then
almost made me cry, to be honest.
Really?
Because it like really touched my soul a little bit, and I was like,
because
like that's real life right there. Like that's like somebody like who was actually lost somebody, you know what I mean, and they're just trying to get along without them, you know what I mean, and like that's real, you know what I mean.
And not only that, I like it even like breaks my heart to even just be like, oh yeah, like kiss and hug dad for me kind of thing. It's like, oh, you lost both of them.
Parents.
Yeah, but like yeah, because the whole song for the most part, like 75% until that part is like it's poking fun. It's poking fun at that.
It's poking fun at quote unquote white women Instagrams.
Yeah, like just basic white
saying
girl
the avocado, all this stuff, and then the songs kind of, the way I interpret it, the songs kind of show like how everyone online and Instagram is showing all the best parts of the life, but these people actually have real lives outside of showcasing that they're so happy online that they could be like going through something or sad. So the one post that was like super real, whatever, and she's like letting her heart out, the aspect ratio goes back to full screen to show that like, oh no, this is like
she's not being performative anymore. Or whoever the character that he portrayed in that one instance like isn't being a performative person, and now is like,
this is like a real person.
There's a super real feelings and emotion to being like, haha, tiny pumpkins, look at me, I got coffee,
avocado, and then immediately
goes back and then it says like chicken salad.
It's like, like a goat cheese salad. And I was like, and it's back to it. Genius.
Absolute genius. Like the way he just, and this is why I like Bo Burnham now, because he would have never made this shit like in what's it called, What I think was his first special.
It kind of sucks that he had to like become mentally ill to get to this place.
Because if you hear his old shit, it's like fucked. It's really bad.
I mean, it's relatable because I feel like I said it on stream like maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, but after like the pandemic, I feel like I can't be the only one that I feel like I've grown from it so much. Like you just sit at home and you think and you think about yourself and all this stuff. I feel like now after the year has been over, and it's kind of the same way I've seen Bo in the special, or we were talking about if this is like scripted or not. I remember the first day, put a pin in it. I gotta remember the first day we watched it. I was like, oh my god, this was so authentic and original, and like, oh my god.
I brought up the idea of like,
Kevin was like, it might be scripted, but this was like my immediate time watching it, my immediate reaction after watching it. My bad. And you already slept like a day or whatever, and like you kind of had it to yourself. I remember waking up the next day and like, wait a second, he might be a genius, and that shit was all scripted. Because I started remembering his other work and saying like how like art and like nothing is real art, like art, all that stuff.
He plays like a perfect blend of like performance versus reality kind of thing, and you have no idea. There's no way to tell unless you ask him.
It felt real though. Like I felt like he was really losing his mind in that whole thing, and then just like, cause he just looked fucked. Like those emotions in his eyes are really hard to just fake. You know what I mean?
Unless he like truly dug
the thing
deeper
is,
an actor.
Bo Burnham always preaches that nothing is real. And he always I feel
like he's not that good an actor.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he just grew. But he was saying that what did he say? He was saying like everything in his shows are like word for word like scripted and everything. And then I had to think about, because immediately I was like you, where I was like, no way, this is so authentic. And I thought about, I'm like, is he that genius? And we'll never know until he says something.
I feel like there are parts of it that are scripted. You know, but I feel like there are a few moments in there that you do see like him genuinely being like, I can't do this. You know what I mean? Like even that part where he's trying to talk, and he's like, fuck, like, and he would stop and he'd like walk away, and then he would come back, and like I feel like that felt just too real.
I feel like we could do that.
I mean, we're crazy. I'm sure like a lot of it, like I know for a fact I could do that. Just like
that's the beauty of it though, is that we'll never know. I'm going back to my pin.
I just want to think it was real.
No, it makes it better, right? I think my pin was I kind of saw it from Bo, and it kind of, I don't know if he kind of like showcases this, but I feel like from the pandemic, like after the shit is done, like kind of like we're getting there, kind of like knock on wood, hopefully like nothing, we don't,
like, please no more pandemics, like no more anything,
we don't go back or something. I feel like I've grown so much, and I feel like I think so differently now. Things like I was like arguing about with like friends, or like stupid things, I'm like, why did I say that, or like why did I think that way? Took so many things for granted. I just feel like such a different person now. The way I think and the way I talk to people. I don't know if you even noticed it like now compared to a year ago. It's so hard to say because we talk to each other every day, so you don't see the gradual change.
I wish everyone had that, but like I wish everyone went through that change and it made everybody a better person, but unfortunately there's some people that just will never change. And they're the ones that have fucked it up for everybody else. So they're the ones that'll never change.
Speaking of change, I want to give a shout out to the Sako song. I forgot the
song.
That's how the world works. That is how the
So
world
smart,
works.
too.
Super smart. The way that he pretty much the way the bit goes is that it comes off as this kind of like kids song to like teach, hey kids, let me teach you about how the world works. And the way that like Bo kind of sings about
Sesame Street.
Yeah, very Sesame Street, and the way he sings about like the bees and the way like the animals are working together, and that's how the world works. And then he brings special guest Sako, which is just a sock on his hand, no eyes, no nothing, just a sock on his hand.
Sako had so much emotion though for just being a sock.
And my favorite thing too is that he's just like anything you want to like contribute, Sako? And he's like, nah, I wouldn't say anything that you haven't said already. And then he proceeds to say the most woke shit I've ever heard.
Right.
And the funniest thing is that, he starts talking about like systematic oppression, and he starts talking about
the other stuff.
Yeah, the other stuff.
Classism.
Yeah, classism and the way that like
labor exploitation. Yeah.
The way history is taught in like schools, and like he doesn't teach us like really important
Literally
shit.
anything that happens.
Yeah. And I love how it's that, but then it gets really dark where Bo's. I love the commentary on Bo just being like, I'm trying to be a better person. Like, why don't you teach me how to do it?
It's not my fucking job to teach you. Read a book.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, read a book. That's
I don't know, read a book. He's like, get fucking with it or get out of the fucking way.
Yeah.
I love that. Because the idea of just like come on, like you shouldn't be able to be like. You should already know this, or like even through like history class.
Yeah,
like,
it should be like second nature.
It should be literally second nature, and not only that, it's like don't impede with like the movement of like certain like groups of people, and it's just try to understand, get with it, or get out.
Yeah.
And like I love that thing, but it's also the symbolism of him being a puppet.
Yes.
Yeah.
The symbolism of Sako being a fucking puppet, and he's the one controlling him.
Yep.
Like, are you fucking kidding me with the genius?
Yeah, and like pulling the sock off and all that stuff. Yeah.
And not only that, the idea. Also, another line too is, you'll get this if you watch like Get Out and I can't really attest to it too much, but like in Get Out there was the sunken place. If you know what that is.
I didn't watch a movie.
So pretty much
watch anything.
So pretty much the idea. There's like one of the most like memed up parts, but it's like very like real. That's kind of the way they, in Get Out they use the idea of the sunken place. Pretty much the antagonist family kind of hypnotizes the main character to fall into a sunken place, which is like this really dark
paralysis. And
it's like sleep paralysis almost. Its idea is that he can't move, can't breathe, and he's crying, and the pretty much it was supposed to be like the idea to symbolize like not being able to do or say anything, and even if you did, it wouldn't matter kind of thing. And it's like that silence kind of being silenced kind of thing. And the way that they introduced that with Sako, of just like, hey Sako, where you been? Like, where you been? And it's like, I'm off your hand, like, what is it like kind of thing? And he's just like, oh, I'm in a place between being alive and dead. It's like a sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Constant state of sleep paralysis.
Yeah. And even the fact that like when he tries to pull him off, he's fucking terrified.
No, please.
Yeah. And then of course, like Bo being the controller, he just follows like the leader pretty much.
Yeah.
He's like stops with the woke stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes back and follows what he was saying.
Yeah. And like just the use of that theme.
Yep.
With the puppet, with that, I'm like, man, you kids. Because let me tell you, I forgot who I was with. I was either with you or with you. Just showing that I think I was going down Sesame Street.
Right.
And I think it was Disney Plus. No. It was HBO or Paramount or something like that. One of the services.
On, Disney.
I think you were looking at it. The Sesame Street is teaching good stuff now.
Yeah, they're teaching about the pandemic,
racism,
all that stuff. Kids need to understand that.
Yeah,
and he's on that project, right?
And they got Bo Burnham to write songs for either a series or a movie, I forget. The songs for that, and I'm like, dude, these kids, you're in for a treat. You're actually in for a treat.
I wish that they taught us stuff like that when we were a kid, because I feel like maybe people would be different.
Oh, I can't, dude. The way kids talked back in the day.
Yeah, it was bad.
Actually, unreal. To today's standards.
I feel like me included. Like I'm not.
Oh yeah, me too.
From this.
I said some dumb shit back in the day, but like you learn, you grow from it, and I think that's the most important.
That's funny. I was talking about this yesterday on stream too about, just like how people regressive language and saying the R word and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
that word.
Yeah, I don't say it anymore.
Oh, best believe I said it back in the day. Like that,
Yeah, 100%.
like it makes me sick to my stomach even like hearing it. It makes me cringe like when I hear it.
I mean, we're kids though. I feel like now we're so much older, and you know, the English language is so vast. There's so many ways to express how you're feeling.
There's so many words in the English language. Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of the words back then were more normalized. You would hear them on TV, and they were things that you saw that were like, oh, that's okay. They say it on television, so it's not a thing that's wrong. But it's like now it is. And people have learned to realize like language like that is not okay and it should have never been okay. And you have to learn from that and realize like don't say that anymore. And a lot of, unfortunately, like the older people, they're like, I've said that my whole life, so I don't understand why it's a problem now. And it's like, you need to learn and grow from it. All you've done is stayed stagnant. But you have to learn. You
need to get with it or get out of the fucking way.
Yeah, exactly.
And it all started when Hilary Duff made that one commercial in 1995 or whatever the hell. I don't even know what you're talking. You don't remember that?
Oh, the one where she was like, "That's so gay."
Yeah, there was a commercial where it was like there was these two girls like trying to find dresses. I don't know if you remember this at all. And like it was like they looked at it.
Strange commercial.
It was really weird. And I remember she was like, "Oh, that's so gay." And then Hilary Duff comes out, it's like, "Hey, that's not cool." Like they made a whole commercial on this. Yeah. And they were just like, "Hey, that's not cool. Like, what if I said like, what if I said, oh, that's like a dumb bimbo bitch with like brown hair and like and weird ears."
Yeah.
Then how would you feel? Kind of thing.
Not good. Yeah.
They made a whole like announcement about it.
So on top of the like. There's just so much words in the dictionary and the language to express yourself. That was the thing that made me transition from not like saying things like that. And what else was I gonna say? I went blank.
The more you focus and stare at him, the more he remembers.
The moment I figured out that people were getting offended by things like that, right? And like I don't want to step me being me, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. So I'm like, okay, if it offends like a significant amount of people that hear that stuff, and like even like having family members that deal with you know, all those disabilities or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's not right to be saying stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
to be honest, I feel a little guilty sometimes because like when people say things like words like that around me, I don't feel like any type of way. Like I'm not offended personally. I'm like, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, you shouldn't say that. But I don't say that to people that use it. To be honest, even I hate to say it, but even some of our friends still use language like this.
Yeah.
And I don't say like, hey, you shouldn't be talking like that.
I try to call people out on it because I'm like, you know, some people get uncomfortable with that, and maybe you shouldn't use that. You know what I mean? Because there's a way to like gracefully handle it and just be like, how about we don't say that word anymore?
So I've been a little guilty about that because it doesn't offend me, so I'm like, whatever, but in the back of my mind I'm like, I should say something.
But it's offensive.
So this is my moment to say to my friends to
stop.
You fucking stop, you fucks.
I'm like, just use different language, man.
There's so many words in the dictionary that you can freaking use, and like I don't know, it's just such like I don't even know, just caveman language, you know what I mean? I don't even know how to explain it.
It sounds just gross when you say it. Like, I don't know why you would even want to use language like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, it's never necessary to use language like that. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I think it really like hit me back in the day when we were dealing with our family members with like, you know, disabilities and people with autism and getting to know like close people around us that have it. I'm like, I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, and like actually talking about that, and then like not only that, if you want to go back to like the gay thing and stuff like that.
I used to say that shit all the time. I remember.
I have so many like gay friends.
Yeah, now we have so many gay friends. And I'm like, okay.
I don't know. You guys know me. Like I for some reason just love interviewing. Whenever I talk to you, I'm sure when I talk to you guys on this podcast, it probably feels like an interview sometimes. Where I'm just like, oh, how about this? How about this? How you feel about this? I don't know if you guys notice, but like the
conversation. To be honest, we talk like this all the time to each other.
Yeah, but the one thing was I wanted to know about the gay experience, growing up gay, not knowing it yourself, and then figuring it out. And I swear, I've had like couple hour conversations with multiple gay people just talking about that experience, how it felt, how did your family feel, and all that. And it's just like when you really get the background of all these, like how it made them feel and like what they were going through, it's unbelievable. You would have never known. You would have never known the shit they were going through, and then like to just attribute like insults to that, and it's like, dude, they already go through so much, and you're gonna tack this on kind of thing. It's like, man, you really don't know. And anything else you want to talk about with Bo Burnham inside?
Yeah, that was a segue.
Yeah. But that's how deep like this thing is. It really tackles like little things like that. I mean, even one of the songs is talking about how Bo Burnham did use progressive language.
And how he's trying to learn from it.
Yeah,
and how he doesn't want to, because he even starts the joke with like a Jew walked into a bar.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and I saved a seat for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how you gracefully take that joke and not make it bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, super funny. But like the Problematic was the one.
Yep.
And
he made a lot of problematic songs back in the day.
And if you go back to like 2013, whenever he started, like on Comedy Central or whatever, he says some collar puller shit. And I love the idea of like, you know, he's
saying to hold him accountable.
Yeah, hold him accountable. Like I'm not like that was me back then, but I've grown from it, and like that's not what that's.
I'm really fucking sorry.
He really just blatantly says I'm sorry, like in the song.
That's literally what he says.
Yeah, and he attributes it to having like shitty shit in his attic.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be symbolic.
Yeah,
because low key, you know, he's talking about. He doesn't mention his old work, but you kind of could get the gist that like he's kind of implying that his old shit was you know, a little.
And I don't know if I don't know if I'm reaching, but then he also says like I love the idea that like it's still there.
Yeah.
Like it's not going away.
Like
and
he's not gonna burn it. He can't.
Yeah,
burn it.
and which why he's like I'm gonna burn it. He's like, oh, should I burn it? He's like, I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah.
He kind of does that little bit, and I don't know if I'm reaching, but it made me feel like oh, don't ignore it. Like that was very much a part of.
Acknowledge it happened and grow from it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, it's so smart, man.
It's so good. Like, well, what? Anything else? Like any songs that?
I guess a cool, not a song, but a cool detail is how you know the special starts. He's going outside, goes inside. Mm-hmm. And then by the end, he walks outside and can't go back inside. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's your take on that? Can't go back inside.
I kind of attribute it to like him just kind of ready or not. I think it's time to go outside, kind of thing. It was like the way I kind of saw it was like, sure, he could just stay inside and it'll be super easy and super hard to take that step out. And I think I love the idea that I don't know if, because I know there's a lot of conflicting things, but I like the idea that in the beginning, doors open. At the end, doors open. The door was always open. It was just up for him to open it and take that step.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think one of my takes on it.
And sometimes it feels like the door is locked. Sometimes it does feel like the door is locked.
And I think one of my takes where he can't go back in, he's kind of saying that like, once you take that step, it's gonna feel bad and you're not gonna be ready. But the point is, you're never going to be ready, and you just have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a hypocrite because I feel like I'm at that place right now, kind of,
mm-hmm.
and I just have to do it, and I kind of haven't. So it was good watching the shit.
I'm telling you, it's super cathartic. And that was like one other thing about I wanted to say earlier. It got glossed over. It was the masterpiece. I think the thing I look for a masterpiece is like something that inspires. Completely is like inspiring in every aspect.
Resonates, affects your life, your way of thinking.
Exactly.
That's what when I mean when I throw out masterpiece for anyone watching or
that's why I like
say that in the future episodes when I say something's a masterpiece. This is what I'm talking about.
But like throwing like I mentioned a couple episodes or maybe the last episode I was playing Celeste, and like that is a masterpiece, and like the way it made me inspire, like it inspires players to deal with depression. It was like another theme of depression and anxiety and all that, and like beginning to end, and the way that they made the gameplay mechanics kind of like affect the way the player plays, and kind of symbolize the way depression can make something harder, and acknowledging it and working with it to make it easier. Highly recommend that game, and also this.
Yeah, so like when people hear us say like Celeste is a masterpiece or even like Undertale's a masterpiece, this is kind of what we mean.
Yeah, like it just
one of a kind.
Inspiring.
It impacts you. You're not gonna get this from anyone or from anyone else or from anywhere else.
Yeah, same thing with Undertale. Like just the themes of becoming like staying a good person no matter the way that your like I guess outside stimuli treats you. Kind of thing, because like there's by the end I love there's the quote, despite everything it's still you if you take the pacifist route, and it's like everything in their nature and minds throughout that like 4 or 5 hour experience or whatever is trying to murder you. They hate you. They're like, you're a dumbass human. They're kicking you around, they're insulting you and all that. But I love the fact that throughout the whole thing, if you choose to spare everyone kind of thing. And if you try to it just kind of like, oh, like, and they really put the power, they really put in the lore that like you yourself have the power to murder everyone. You are like immensely stronger than everyone that was insulting you and stuff, but you still chose the power to keep it to yourself and be a good person kind of thing.
Right.
And then when you look in that mirror and it says, despite everything, it was still you. It's still you. It's like, oh, so powerful. And it's stuff like that where it makes you like think on your life, reflect on your life.
Yeah.
And what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? And then growing from that and adjusting, I think is like something that really makes a masterpiece.
Well said. I was gonna say, I guess another small detail is that he mentions that he was having severe panic attacks, when he used to do stand up.
Yeah. And
his way of kind of saying it without saying it, which is pretty much the entire special, saying things without really saying them, kind of, or at least subliminally or symbolically. That one scene where it's just the crowd like cheering or laughing or whatever, and he does like the crazy face. I remember at first I was like, "What the hell? What was the purpose of that?" But now looking back,
terror,
yeah, that's like how he felt inside. And then immediately it's like immediately after that, it's him doing like probably the only stand up bit in the special. And keep in mind, there's like nature behind him because inside the themes of inside outside, there's nature around him. He's like naked, so he's like
super vulnerable.
Also, you could even attest it to like wanting to like being one with nature, you know what I mean, like wanting to go outside or whatever. And as he's telling the stand-up, I think it's genius when he's telling the stand-up, the crickets, it's like it goes with the theme of nature and being outside. And also that's the classic, like, you tell a joke and there's crickets,
and he always says like, tell a joke in a room and no one's laughing,
right? Yeah, so that's another cool detail. I feel like I know after we do this and I watch this, I'm gonna regret it because I'm gonna think of something I didn't say that I want to say because we're not going step by step. Is there any?
Do you want to say anything about like because I think one of all of our favorite songs is like the get your fucking hands up. Dun, 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 dun.
All eyes on me.
Yeah.
All eyes on me. Yeah.
I guess the only thing I can think of is that they play this directly after he has like a fucking breakdown.
Yeah. And
it's fucking just heartbreaking. The first time I saw that.
Yeah, the first time I was. By the way, the first time I even watched this, I stood up the entire time. I thought that was really. No. Actually, no. I that's a lie. I was sitting down, and then when he said, he's like, "Come on, like get up, get the fuck up," and I was like, shit. I was like, fuck. I was like, shit. Should I get up? I was like, dude. I felt I was like, I felt bad for not getting up, but yeah, the second time I watched it through with you, I was standing up the whole time. I didn't even realize that by the time we finished it.
Yeah.
That's how engrossed and enveloped I was.
I'm going to gloss over that, or I'm going to just say this real quick and then we'll go to your topic. But like I think it was super important, the pacing of this, how he was like trying to say like, he's working on this for a year and he's freaking out. He's to the point where he's just like, fuck this. I'm not even doing this. Starts pushing all the equipment like everywhere. And then like it goes to the shot of him like after he's like quote unquote like probably just totally was yelling and throwing shit around possibly, and then when he went to go sit down after he could probably calm down, it was just like, he says that I'm not well, starts completely sobbing.
Yeah.
And I think it goes into the song, the get your fucking hands up. I love the use of the blues because I think that's just like the total just complete drowning in blue depression because they use the light. The whole room is blue. He's blue and all that. And
I don't know. It's a small detail if people notice it. It's like in the top left. I think the song starts out and the camera's on full battery, and by the time it ends, it's empty battery.
Yeah,
and that's very symbolic. I don't have to explain it. It should be self-explanatory.
Yeah, and I love the use of the words like we're gonna go where everybody knows kind of thing.
Yeah,
and that's like everybody knows the inside of their own house, but at the same time. There's like the depression. Everybody knows like everyone in life has at least been in a depressive state, whether it's clinical or like legitimately like you lost a family member or something like that. Just feeling down.
Yeah, and I know it was the word dichotomy of like get your fucking hands up, get on out of your seat. All eyes on me, and then he goes, hands down, pray for me, heads down, pray for me. I love that, like the reversal of that. But we could go longer. My topic, I think it will be short unless you guys get crazy with it.
No. I mean,
the thing is, I'll say that this special was very, very special, and the reason I don't want to move on it because I know I'm gonna forget something I want to say. I'm telling you guys, it's that special. At least to me, it resonated with me.
Just do what you always do. Write it in the comments down below, as well as you can.
I don't know. I feel like we're missing something. It hurts.
The whole point of the topic is just go watch it. I'm sure if you see how passionate we are about this, and how it kind of inspired us. But
I guess we talk about this. The one song, Lokis Inside again. It's a good glimpse at content creation as well. Or he's trying to. He has it sprinkled everywhere, but this one is very apparent. Because he's like singing it and it sounds great or whatever, and he's doing fine, and then he immediately stops. And this is the joke that we keep saying all day: is take a big fucking breath, and he restarts, and he goes right back to performance mode. And in that glimpse, you could see the frustration of like creating this and like really having it like 100% of your ability and trying to make it mean a lot to you, and the frustrations, and like even after a bunch of cuts, like after he turns 30. And he's like, okay, like we're gonna do like one more, and it's funny because that was the take that he used, and it sounded great. But of course, he's like, you gotta take one more. It's just a good glimpse at what it's actually like, you know what I mean? But I relate to that song too. As much as I hate to say it, what's it called? The Lokis Inside again. Like looking for a reason to like hide again, type of thing. I remember in put a pin in it at the end with the hands down, pray for me. He says the line where he's like he wanted to get back in like January of 2020 is when he quit comedy. He wanted to go back in January of 2020, and then the funniest thing happened, right? Yeah. And then paired with that song, the Look Who's Inside Again, I felt this shit out. That resonated with me so hard. I felt that shit because I was like, I remember being in a place of like in January 2020, like, oh, it's like a new year. I want to like get my life back on my feet or whatever. Yeah. And I was like feeling guilty for just staying inside all the time. And then I remember when January came around, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like get back on my feet. You guys have seen me all the time, just being a piece of shit in my room or whatever. And I remember feeling super guilty for that, and I wanted to get back on my feet. And the moment where he's like trying to find a reason to come back inside again, like, yeah, you want to go out, and like I was about to go out, and then the pandemic hits, and it's like, oh well, like we gotta go back inside. Like you don't feel as guilty because there's a reason to stay inside with the pandemic and shit. So I that song hit me pretty hard too. Like just having giving that bullshit like justification to be like it's okay to be inside.
I guess one thing, and then we'll move on because we're going real long. I wanted to actually start my acting career like this year. Yeah. And I felt like when he reveals like he had panic attacks for like and that he stopped for 5 years, and he was like, you know what, it was time to get back, and it was just like the funny thing happened. Yeah. Right. I'm sure we all know what the funny thing is. Real fucking funny. I just graduated college. I got my degree in theater arts, and I got a job. What you do, you go after college, you get a job. I was working a 40-hour job and something not theater related. I was working in semiconductor like industry, and like it's as bland as it sounds, pretty much. Especially if you're like a theater kid. And I was like, but I need money, so I worked here for about 2 years or something like that, and like I got a lot of money saved up, and I was ready to go out there in January 2020. Yeah. That was when actually got laid off around that time, but like, and I was ready to act again. I was ready to go out there and go to New York, and I was gonna like I would fly to LA if I had to, fly to Texas if I had to. And I was ready to do it, and like it wasn't as bad as Bo, where he didn't even get a chance to, quote unquote. I don't know if he did or not, like small places and stuff like that. But I at least got like one audition and one play that I was in. But after that, it was like the world just completely just flipped on its like head, right? And then all of acting and theater and all that stuff just shut down. Luckily, it's starting to come back up and all that, but that was like a one thing where like, dude, my heart broke when he was like, in January 2020 I was ready after 5 years, and that was like something that I truly related to.
All I know is that the last thing, if I'm ever feeling like uninspired or down, I'm gonna go back and watch this shit because it just resonated with me personally.